Okay, question number 2. Should the election for undergraduate school representatives be held in the main election during the second semester? Got speaker for the yes. Okay, thank you.
School reps play an important role within USAT and the university as a whole, but they're a vital link between the class reps, schools and the university. Until now, undergraduate school reps have always been elected in the March elections, until this year when it's been decided to move them to the October elections. If this happens, then any fourth years in that position will leave at the end of the year and leave the seat empty for the first few weeks of semester 1, the most crucial weeks to new students arriving at the university. I was elected in the October by-elections myself as a school rep for ECO, and for me I found it incredibly difficult to get in contact with first years, with the class reps, because I wasn't there when they had their training, when they were first elected. So it was harder for me to represent the school and the groups within the school. Therefore, this is a simple thing that can easily influence it, and it will be a vast improvement to the way that students are represented academically within the university as a whole. And that's all I've got to say.
Is there anyone to take this 2-minute speech for the No campaign on this?
Hello. So I don't really feel particularly strongly one way or the other, but I thought I'd better put across the case which we had in our minds originally when we moved these elections to the October by-election. The reason that we did it, there were a couple of reasons. One of them was so that the October election would be like the academic election. Happens at the same time as the class rep elections. There's much more of a focus on academic issues, which is something which has been lacking certainly in the past as student council. There aren't enough academic issues which come up. The other reason was because we want school reps to work much more closely with class reps, and for that reason, having them 6 months out of kilter, we thought wasn't very good. Now it has caused another issue which we didn't really envisage, which is that of course there won't be in some cases, but where the rep is fourth year, there won't be effective representation in the first few weeks of term because fourth year won't be there because they'll have graduated. So just to put that view across, like I say, don't particularly have a strong opinion one way or the other. That's the reason why we changed it in the first place.
Would you like to take questions? Okay, do we have any questions?
Just a clarification point. So if they're held, if the election is held in October, it means that it excludes first years from having the position or not?
Would you like to take that for clarification?
Oh, sorry, not in October, in the main election.
Oh, in the main election.
It means that they'll be so they're elected for the next year. So they can serve as a school rep when they're in first year if they're elected in the main elections in March. That's what it currently is now. The other way round, if we do it in October, first years will be able to stand as soon as they arrive at university or a few weeks after and serve as a school rep in their first year.
Yeah.
The thing with that is that quite a lot of first years sort of maybe want more experience and a chance to sort of experience you some more and sort of get used to maybe being a class rep before they actually become a school rep. And by holding the elections in March, then they have the 7 months there to experience being a class rep, used to the way USA works, the way the university works, before they actually become or have the opportunity to stand to become a school rep.
Okay.
I just wanted to direct the point to Mike, for Chris's point about what do you think about this issue that, do you think that a lot of the hookup between school reps and between class reps will occur from them kind of meeting and during the training and freshers week? Do you see, because I take your point, but do you think there's any kind of way of resolving it? So how do you respond to this idea that they will not be as well connected and as well kind of communication, because they don't form that initial bond in Freshers Week if the previous was in fourth year.
I don't actually think that's the strongest argument for voting yes in this referendum. I think the actually the amount of training that happens with class reps, it's not immediate. It does happen, you know, after the election. So the school rep will still be around. What I think is probably a bigger concern is the first few weeks of term, like Freshers Week and things like that, where the school rep is involved in induction for new students. In schools where there is no, where the previous rep was a fourth year, that will mean there's no school rep to take on that role, and it will have to do with someone else, probably me. Well, not me, whoever's taking my role. So yeah, I think that's probably a bigger problem. Yeah.
Would you like to respond to that?
Mostly just adding to Mike's last point, if that was the case then, for example, whoever is then elected as BPAA would have to speak for that. However, they might not be the best place to speak for that. For example, for me, if I was a school rep for ECA and I was speaking to the first years, I would give them much more in depth, not just about how USA works, but also about how ECA works and how the college as a whole works, to sort of give more in-depth information, whilst BPAA would only be able to do basic stuff like basics from that, and would mostly be concentrating on USA.
Mike, would you like to respond to that? Okay. Question up here, behind you, Matt.
It's just a question about this whole idea of having an academic election. If we had the elections in March, in what way could we take action to maybe build, what would you do to build this idea of academic representation, which has been advocated by the October election?
Well, from what I can understand about the way that the new system will work once it changes, is that the academic forum will actually be one of the largest forums of the union, is that right? Yeah, so really, rather than people standing to be on the student council, would therefore sort of exist as one body, they would actually be standing for the specific forums, therefore it would be more concentrated on academic issues, merely because of that.
Any response?
No, I think that's probably right. If we were to put them back to March, there's not a huge amount that we could do other than that. Having an academic forum will mean that the people who represent those positions will have to focus entirely on academic issues, which is probably, you know, it's probably just about enough. We wanted to make it even stronger because, you know, it's the reason we're all here. But I think it would probably be okay.
Okay. Question from Philip.
Sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions this evening. But a question to Fraser. Do you support the previous question to putting 2 school reps in place? And if so, do you not think that this is, it would be rather unlikely that both of them would be in 4th year and then both of them therefore would not be there in the beginning of term?
Yes, I do support the second question. Probably no, because I'm actually one of the. I'm sort of. He's seconding my question, and I'm fully supporting his question as well. Sort of, but the thing is, yes, maybe they won't be both in 4th year, but that's not the point. We don't know for definite that that's going to be enforced. We don't know for definite this is going to be enforced. However, you know, the question's there, and then there's also the option there. If you do have 2 school reps, then maybe you do have one available in October for a first year to be elected to that position, and one in March. So there's still the option there, but also it just gives more sort of, if you have one rep, then fair enough, you have someone there. I totally agree with your point. Yes, there maybe won't be both in 4th year. However, what if that person isn't in 4th year, decides to stand for a different position in the March election and get elected to that? Then you've still got no school rep there to speak to the first years.
Just to badge your point, Fraser said that there would be the option of having one person elected in March and one person elected in October. Actually, if this question passes, that would be an option because we're mandated to have those elections in March, as it says there.
One more question.
I've got a question for Mike. You said that one of the reasons for moving the elections was in order to increase the level of academic issues at the council, which is an issue. Don't you think that that might better served by attempting to kind of cut down on the political factionalism which appears to be engulfing USAP more and more recently, as I see? I think that's more. I think that would be a better solution than just moving the undergraduate school representative elections.
No, I think that's a. We don't want to stop people being activists. I don't think that's what we're here. We're here to politicise students amongst many things. We are a campaigning body, as literally in our mission statement to secure a world-leading student experience. That includes a whole host of different things. So I don't think that's the way to do it. What is the way that we've done it in the new constitution is to split these issues up. So actually, the more external issues there are, it doesn't mean that there's less time for academic issues because they're discussed in different places. I think that's a very sensible way to go about it, and that's what we've done.